Madame Croës from Galerie Gisèle Croës, thank you very much for this opportunity to talk to you about your gallery. And we would like to know more about you, your gallery, and its specialty. Could you describe to us?
Hello, first of all, hello all of you. I'm a specialist in Chinese arts since a very long time, and I've always kept this specific thing through the ages.
Well, where is your gallery based and how long has it been around?
I have been based in Brussels since my very, very beginning. I have changed over the years. I had an extremely large gallery, which was very difficult to run after a while because too large. And in process of age, I decided to buy another building in a more pleasant place where I am today. It's very near a big, big garden, which is an abbey uh, starting in the 16th century, and I'm just across the road. And so I have a divine look over the gardens, and my gallery is situated there. And I'm very happy to be, surrounded by objects, surrounded by people I like, and continuing at my age to work.
Well, it sounds like it's a beautiful place. I have only seen some photos on your website, and I know I will have the pleasure to meet you next week. So I am looking forward to that. So,
Thank you.
could you tell us how how did you become a gallerist?
Oh, that's a long story. I will try to do it as short as I can. I started very modestly in my early years because I had no money with things that I thought, oh, it's nice. I will sell them. I will buy them and sell them. And very, very quickly, I sort of ask to myself, do I like what I'm doing here? Should I do better? Should I do something I really like more? And I was talking to the president of the Antique Dealers Association of that time, and he said, look, I think you have some gifts. You should develop what you like best, and then you will be really successful. And I said, oh, that's a very good idea. So I thought about it and I said, what do I like best? And for me, what I like best is China, the people of China and the arts. And that's how I started my business and being involved in Chinese arts in a time where it was much more difficult because people did not know about China about 50 years ago. So
Wow.
it was a rediscovery. So my gallery is, 50 years old.
Wow, that sounds like quite the history. And it is so true. When you do something you love, you never have to work a day in your life, is it?
It's exactly that. Also, you are all time.
Well, and you've chosen to do things with beautiful objects. So that is another amazing thing. Could you, out of all the 50 years of history, could you give us perhaps share with us an anecdote of the gallery, perhaps a super special souvenir you have of the history?
Well, I have diverse states of funny stories. So I didn't really think about what was the most funny thing, but what I loved the best was my encounter with the president of France, or the wife of the president of France. She was looking for a parking at a fair in Paris and could not find it. And I was just there walking through because I was going to my gallery. So we had an encounter at the uh, esplanade of the Grand Palais,
Mhm.
and I helped her to come into the Biennale, although she was strictly incognito there, and no, she didn't want anybody to know that she was the wife of the president. And we got sort of very easy together, and we sort of liked each other. And that was one of the great souvenirs I had with Mrs. Chirac, who was the wife of the president of France at that time. So that's a funny story for me, is to meet something I was not expected as a Belgian to meet. And that's one of my great souvenirs.
Wow. And I'm sure during all the decades that you must have met some significant people. That's a
Yes.
beautiful story when people can connect on a love of something that
Ah,
it's regardless of, like you say, who the title is of the day.
yes,
So
of course. Of
do,
course. Yeah.
Do you remember your first collector? Who was it? And what did you sell? Or did you sell?
No, this is too far away. You know, it's 50 years ago, so I really don't remember really. But what I had as a souvenir is, you know, someone walking into my gallery, an unknown person to myself, who was very well known, which I did not know, and who was, you know, discovering Chinese art. And we started to talk. And the more I was talking to him, I thought he's very interesting, but I did not know who he was. And it was a person from Switzerland who died recently, but he was extraordinary and he became one of my most beloved clients. So that's a wonderful souvenir. When I think of him, I always think, what a chance I had in life to meet him through something I like myself so much.
That's beautiful. And if somebody was trying to start collecting, what advice would you give?
To remain modest in their choices, to
You make
work, to
Yes.
be modest, you know, in their choices in the beginning,
Mhm.
because nothing is given to us. We have to have the eye, we
Right.
have to have the experience looking at pieces. So my advice is look around. You have to advise him to learn a lot, to look a lot,
Yeah.
to be very firm on what he likes and what he dislikes.
Right.
Because if you don't like something, you will not go further. You cannot go further. In our work, we go further because we love it, because we want to go and look and study and write and also read. So that's very important. And for someone young, is to start modestly, to see how it works and what is his personal feeling with the objects he's selling. So that's very important, in my opinion.
That sounds like very sound advice. First, what you like. Now, what about if somebody wants to consider to start a gallery today? What advice would you give them?
Oh, that's a very tricky question
Or would you
because
tell them don't?
today it's very hard because, you know, if you choose like me early ages, you have very few opportunities to buy. You have to be very connected.
Right.
If you have a gallery, you have to have a stock, you have to know people. So it will be for the young person who is trying to open a gallery today is hard work. I would
Mm.
advise him to study first, to meet people, and then think it over, and then open something.
Very sound advice. Thank you very much. And thank you for this time. And I look forward to the next occasion when we'll talk a little bit more in depth about the life of a gallerist. Thank you, Madame Croès.